Hi JD, welcome back to the channel. Apologies for the lack of content for a while. I've been busy doing other things. Obviously strange times at the moment with everybody self-isolating and working from home and everything shutting down. I hope you're all keeping safe and well, and fingers crossed we'll be out of the other side of this very, very soon. Anyway, I just wanted to touch base with a quick video looking at the new rules that are coming in April 2020 in regards to benefiting kind tax on electric vehicles. Now, if you're not already aware, when you have a company car, if it's provided to you by the company, it's treated as a perk. And that perk goes on what's called a P11D, and that P11D is presented to HMRC, and they use that value to adjust your tax code by that amount. So if you have a company car, let's say it's got a value, a P11D value of, say, I don't know, £35,000, and it has a benefiting kind tax of 33%. You effectively pay 33% of that P11D value on your tax code. And, you know, let's say, I don't know, you had £2,000 a year benefiting kind tax. That would come off your personal allowance, which effectively means you will pay 20% earlier than you would have done normally. So you're going to pay 20% of that £2,000. Let's take an example, actually. I've just knocked up a very quick company car tax calculator, and also the main purpose of this video is to discuss the fact that from April 2020, if you have an electric vehicle, there is going to be no benefiting kind tax, and it's only going to increase to 1% in 2021. So I just thought I'd do a bit of a demonstration as to how attractive it could be either leasing a electric vehicle through your company, getting your company to pay for it because there'll be no taxable to pay as there would ordinarily, or even salary sacrificing your own car if your company will allow you to do this. So pay the lease payment through salary sacrifice, and you'll see you will actually end up saving a lot of money, certainly a lot more even if you're a 40% taxpayer. So I thought we'd just go through a few little examples. So ordinarily, let's take the value that I talked about. If you were to have a company vehicle with a P11D value of £35,000 and it had a BIK rate, a benefiting kind rate of 33%, the cash value of that perk that the company is giving to you, in effect, is £11,550. And if you're a 20% taxpayer, you take 20% of the £11,550 in this example, and you can see it's £2,310 a year. Effectively, you would pay £192.50 a month more income tax in this example. If you're a 40% taxpayer, you take 40% of the £11,550, which is £4,620, and that equates to £385 a month. So actually, depending on what company car you have and whether you're a 20% or a 40% taxpayer, it can still be pretty expensive to have a company car. Now, what's happening in April is that this value is being reduced to 0 for electric vehicles. And as I said, it's going up to 1% in April 2021, and I think, don't quote me, 2% in April 2022. I don't know whether they've announced any other rates, but certainly for this year, it's going to be 0%. So obviously 0% means you're going to pay nothing in income tax. So if we've got a, I don't know, let's say a mini electric, the mini electric 3, which is the top of the line, I think it's about 30 grand. So let's say it's 30 grand. Ordinarily, you would have ended up paying £165 a month as a 20% taxpayer, or £330 a month for a 40% taxpayer, if this was provided to you by the company as a perk. Obviously, with a 0% tax charge, you're going to pay nothing. So that's really quite interesting, because it makes having a company car, if it's an electric vehicle, very, very, very cost effective. But the other thing I wanted to talk about was if you were to salary sacrifice. Now, salary sacrifice basically means that you give up a proportion of your salary, your gross salary, and that's the important bit. So before any tax, before any national insurance, you take off the, let's say, the lease value of a car off your gross pay. So it works out, if you're a 20% taxpayer, and I'll show you some calculations in a minute, because you're not paying tax or national insurance on that salary sacrificed amount, it actually gives you a 32% saving on the amount that you're paying for your car. Or if you're a 40% taxpayer, it actually works out at a 42% tax saving. So let's say I had a look on I think it was Blue Chili Cars earlier, and I found a mini lease, which I think was a 48-month term. There was no upfront cost, so it was basically 1 plus 47, which basically means 48 equal payments. And it was £451 a month. So I thought to myself, okay, if we were to salary sacrifice £451 a month, how much would it actually cost us? Well, I'll show you where we get to this in a minute, but essentially all you need to do is to take 32% off that amount for a 20% taxpayer and 42% off that for a 40% taxpayer. And as you can see, if you're a 20% taxpayer, if you wanted to lease and salary sacrifice the lease amount of £451, it only cost you £306.68 because you are saving the national insurance and the income tax on that amount because it's coming off your gross salary. If you're a 40% taxpayer, it only actually ends up costing you £261.58. Now, if you were to salary sacrifice a car which attracted benefit in kind tax, obviously it's not really that worthwhile, because the tax saving you save on the salary sacrifice scheme, you'll end up paying again, sometimes more actually, in benefit in kind tax. But as I said, because the electric cars from April are having no benefit in kind tax, if your employer will let you do it and pay for a car through salary sacrifice, it could actually save you almost half if you're a 40% taxpayer. I'm just going to explain a little bit how we work this out. There's a really good website here called the salarycalculator.co.uk. I wrote one of these spreadsheets a long time ago. Excuse my phone, but there are some really good websites that do it for you now, so I don't bother making my own anymore. And what this will let us do is we type in our gross salary, we type in our tax code, we type in our salary sacrifice amount and any other bits if you want to, and it'll tell you what your take-home pay will be. So I'm going to do this for someone who has got a standard tax code, and the standard tax code for this year, which is 1920, and actually for 2021 because it's not changing, is 1250L. For those who don't know, what that basically means is that for the first £12,500 of income, you don't pay any tax. 1250L. Last year it was 1190L or something, 11,900 or 11,800, something like that. So let's take our example of £451 a month for leasing our mini electric car, and let's say we're a 20% taxpayer with a gross annual salary of £30,000 a year. Standard tax code of 1250L. That tells me that my take-home pay is going to be, bear with me, the internet's a bit slow at the moment because everybody's working at home. Is this going to work? That's good, isn't it? Come on! I think the internet's broken. Bear with me, I'm going to pause the video and come back in a minute. Right, sorry about that, I'm back in the room, the internet's come back on. So, £30,000, 1250L tax code, tells me that the take-home pay would be £2,003.33. Let's just make a note of that. So 2003, was it? Yeah. So if I salary sacrifice my Mini, which was £451 a month, which is, what's that in a year? 451 times 12, 5412. So I'm going to salary sacrifice, I can do it every month, £451 every month, or 5412 every year. My net pay has now my net pay has now changed to 1696. So 1696. So the difference between those is that minus that, £307 a month. So that £451 a month which I'm spending on leasing my mini electric vehicle is actually only costing me 307. So 307 divided by 451 is 0.68. So 1 minus 0.68 gives us 32%. So 0.32, 32% discount. If we now just go back and do it as a 40% taxpayer, just to show the maths behind that. So let's say we earn, I don't know, let's say we're very lucky and we earn £60,000 a year with a standard tax code. I'm going to salary sacrifice nothing to begin with, and our take home pay is 3620. 3620. I salary sacrifice my Mini at £451 a month, and my take home pay now becomes 3358, which gives us a difference of that minus that, 262. So it's now only cost us £262 a month to lease a £451 a month car. Let's just check the old percentage. So let's do 262 over 451 gives us 0.58. So 1 minus 0.58 gives us 0.42, so a 42% saving. So as I said, that's quite nice, but it wouldn't be so nice if we then had to pay benefit in kind tax on the perk. Because as we said, if it was, say, I don't know, let's say it was quite generous, a 20% benefit in kind tax, it would still cost us another £100 a month as a 20% taxpayer, or £200 a month as a 40% taxpayer. But because there's nothing to pay, we can effectively now lease an electric car for either a 32% or 42% saving, depending on our own personal circumstances. Sorry, I'm just trying to hit my monitor. My monitor's playing up. There we go. So that's quite nice. I hope that makes sense. I'm just going to show you one other thing, because I thought to myself, okay, well, if I was to lease a mini car, what would the fuel savings be? So let's say my wife's just bought a Mini 1.5 diesel, and that gets about 55 mpg on her commute. And let's take diesel prices, which today, I think, this is March the 25th, 2020, has been a massive reduction. I think you can get diesel for about 108, 109 pence a litre at the moment. So let's say we can, and let's say on our daily commute we do 600 miles a month, diesel price of 109 a litre, times that by 4.545, which gives us £4.95 a gallon. Okay, bear with me. 55 mpg works out at 9 pence a gallon, so 600 miles a month would cost us £53.99 per month in diesel. Theoretically, it's probably going to cost a bit more, but £53.99 a month. Let's now have a look at how much it would cost us to drive a mini electric. Well, again, 600 miles a month. Now, I've done a bit of reading around, and Octopus Go, which is Octopus Energy's electric vehicle thing, they can get you cars and sort out business leasing and all sorts of things. Between, I can't remember what the hours is, but 4 hours every night, they will give you electricity at 5 pence per kilowatt hour. And then after that, 13.45 pence per kilowatt hour, and there's a 25 pence per day standing charge. So I thought to myself, well, I don't know a lot about electric cars and how much they cost to charge and everything. So I did a little bit of reading, and a mini electric has got a 32.6 kilowatt hour battery. Okay. Now the maximum apparently you can get in a domestic installation at home is a 7.4 kilowatt charging point, 32 amp effectively. So I thought to myself, how much would it charge, assuming our battery was completely flat? How much would it cost to charge? Well, it would, that's not money, is it? No, sorry, that's not currency, that's a number. It would cost, sorry, it would take roughly 4.41 hours to charge a mini electric at 32.6 kilowatts, assuming we can charge it 7.4 kilowatts an hour. So all I've done there is done, what's the total amount I need to fill my battery with? 32.6 kilowatts, and we're charging at 7.4 kilowatts every hour. So it's going to take just under 4.5 hours to charge our mini electric. How much will that cost then? So what I said to myself is, okay, well, if we start charging exactly when that electricity unit drops to 5p per hour, say we had it on a timer, we would have 4 hours at 5 pence per unit, and then 0.41 of an hour, so what's that, about 25 minutes, at 13.45 pence. So I worked out that it would cost us £1.88 to charge that mini. And let's say a theoretical range, I saw a review the other day and they got about 100 miles. I think Mini are quoting 140 miles, but let's be conservative and say it's 100 miles we get on a charge. So how much does that work out at? Well, it works out at 2 pence per mile. So in a month, based on the 600 miles, it would cost us £11.30 in electricity. Now, obviously, you're going to pay a standing charge on your household electricity anyway, but I've added it on. So in a 31-day month, we'd have a £7.75 standing charge. So if we add that on, the total to run our mini electric, in theory, using this example, is £19.05, as opposed to £53.99 a month in diesel. So the difference in running costs is £34.94, okay, between a petrol and a diesel. So there's not a massive saving there, but because there's no benefit in kind tax, and because we can, you know, if we can lease through salary sacrifice, if we take our cost here of £19.05 and add that on to our salary sacrifice costs, for a 20% taxpayer, going to cost us £325 a month, including running costs, or for a 40% taxpayer, £280 a month. And that's assuming a 600 mile a month commute, and we're using a very green tariff. I hope that was useful. I think I've covered all I wanted to. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please continue to comment and subscribe. I'll put a link to my spreadsheet up here. Email address down here if you want details of how to find and obtain a copy of the spreadsheet. As I say, please stay safe, please stay indoors when you can. Let's fight this virus, let's get through it hopefully in the next few weeks, and let's come out the other side stronger. Thanks for watching, see you next time.